All right. I don't even know what to tell you guys. So, for anybody that oh really? Hold on. For anybody that follows the show on Twitter, explained that I did not schedule the stream today. Hold on. I hate it when this light's on. Sorry, that light's like right above my head, and so it just shines off of my bald dome. Anyway, I always turn the Christmas lights on too, but I can talk while I'm doing that. So, usually what I do on the days that I stream is in the morning is when I get everything set up. Why? Nothing's working today. Is when I get everything set up, and this morning I saw that I was having a problem with my capture setup, which I still don't actually really know what the problem is. So I came home and I got my Jaguar. Well, my Jaguar was already all set up, but I was trying to troubleshoot, and I was just I'm not going to bore you with the details. I was just having some connection issues. So I was going to cancel the stream, but the thing is, like, I have the house to myself because my wife's not here. So, like, this is when to stream. So what I did is I've got my analog. What is this called? The Super NT. I've got that down here, and so I plug that into the capture device, and they seem like they're getting along, which suggests that maybe the problem is actually my OSSC. I don't know. I mean, I don't. Maybe my Jaguar setup somehow like partially. I mean, you can't partially fry something, can you? I don't know. Oh, didn't we say we were putting this over here now? I don't know. It's just like I'll power cycle the Jaguar, to change games or whatever, and then all of a sudden the capture device will no longer have a connection to the OSSC, even though I can still see the Jaguar just fine on my PVM. So I really don't know what's going on. But what I do know is that I plugged in my Super NT, and they seem like they're getting along. So and like I said, I really didn't want to skip streaming. So what time is it now? It's about 6:30. My wife should be home around 8:20, 8:30. So we can still sneak in a couple hours of streaming. Oh, come on, man. Sorry, that's my mom. So I just sent my mom to voicemail for you guys, so you're welcome. And then the one thing that I also forgot to do is I have to go outside and close the chicken coop. So what I'll do is I'll get the Super Nintendo here going, and I figured first we'll play. I can't remember if we've played Super Turrican already. I know we played Mega Turrican on the Genesis. I can't remember if we played Super Turrican. So, and that's one of the two built-in games on the Super NT. You get Super Turrican and Super Turrican 2, which is pretty cool. And yeah, and by the way, I'm following the chat on an iPad because I don't have my other monitor hooked up. So we're a real hot mess down here tonight, but it's okay. So anyway, I'm gonna get the game started, and then I got to run outside for like literally 90 seconds, and come back so you guys can talk amongst yourselves or whatever. I don't know. Is there anybody here who hasn't seen what the Super NT looks like? This is the screen that you get when you boot it up. So, wow, I look really dark. That doesn't matter. This is the screen you get when you boot it up, and then you can decide if you want to just run the cartridge. So speaking of that, the cartridge that I have installed is my ST to SNES. So SD to SNES. So we can play any game that anybody wants. So, but I figure, like I said, we'll start with Super Turrican. And what's going on? Is there already somebody causing problems down in the chat? I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Okay, so yeah, so we just have to highlight Super Turrican Director's Cut. I don't actually know what the difference is, but maybe somebody else can tell us there. Okay, and now the game is loading. We should have audio once the game actually starts. I'm just waiting to see. All right, yeah, this part's quiet, but it'll get louder. But all right, anyway, so let me run outside real quick and close the chicken coop, or my wife will kill me. And when I come back, we are going to dig in. All right. Yeah, all right. Let me just sit for a second, and I'm gonna check the chat here. I'm a little frazzled after the last 2 hours there. So, you know, as some of you know, one of our chickens got killed by a raccoon. So, that's why we have to keep the chicken. We didn't used to close the chicken coop. But, yeah, now we have to. All right. No burger, a raccoon. What do they call those things? Trash pandas. Yeah, okay. So, anyway, let's go ahead and get started. I don't know why anybody would care, but I'm also using one of these 8-bit do or 8-bit do wireless game pads with the old SD2 SNES there. So that's pretty cool. Anyway. Too loud, I don't know. One up. So it's like the same as the original Turrican. So there was like the one up hiding back here. This one, hold on, let me just. Ooh, yeah, okay, left. You get this energy beam thing. Right? So I haven't played this game in a while, so free stuff. Now we can't get up there anymore, I don't think. So, yeah, well, whatever. I think it was a lot of work for, I think, like one extra life anyway, so we won't worry about it. You know, I'm playing this through the streaming software, so it's kind of suboptimal, but there's really not very much of an input delay at all using this capture device. It's actually a pretty impressive capture device. So, I mean, I really hope that that's not the problem, although I guess if something's broken, then no matter what, it's going to be expensive. But I think the OSSC is actually cheaper than the capture devices. So then you have to wait here because the wind shows up. And then after the wind, the lightning comes and hits you. So the lightning will show up just in time, or not the lightning, but the wind will show up just in time. That if it comes while you're in mid-jump, then it will blow you off course and you'll end up falling down to your death. So that is not cool. But anyway, I don't know. What else do I want to say from the start about Super Turrican? I feel like I've mentioned this somewhere on the show before. Super Turrican there's some kind of weird incompatibility with this game if you play it on a one-chip system. So like the Super Nintendo, well, I don't know what we're going to call the Super Nintendo Mini now, because now people will think you're talking about the classic, right? I don't know, the Model 2 Super Nintendo. This game is sort of semi-incompatible with it. Like, you can start playing the game and you think everything's fine, but then you start getting these weird like audio glitches. Like, you can keep playing the game, but it's going to sound terrible. So for that reason, I originally, and I guess I don't really need it anymore, but you know, because my Model 2 Super Nintendo has always been my main system, right, that I just use to play Super Nintendo games. But I have a Model 1 Super Nintendo that I kept around purely so that I could play this game. But I guess now, in a way, I don't really need it anymore. I mean, I would keep it anyway, just because, you know, I want to have a original model Super Nintendo, I guess, just for, you know, the sake of the collection or whatever. But yeah, I don't really need it anymore, I suppose. I felt kind of weird uploading that Flashback episode today. I think there's nothing out there. Just because, you know, I wouldn't really normally want to do a live stream on the same day that I upload a video. But it just kind of worked out that way. But then I got, well, I didn't get in trouble, but for those of you that have watched the Flashback episode already, you know, I put about, I don't know, 10 or 15 seconds of a Kraftwerk episode, or a Kraftwerk song right at the beginning. And so I got like a copyright claim or whatever on the video, which just means that the advertising revenue goes to the company instead of me. Like, that I don't care about. But it also means that the video is blocked in a lot of countries around the world. And that I do not like, because that means that, you know, a lot of my international viewers can't watch the episode. So they had some kind of thing where, like, you know, supposedly I can... I tried to edit out the sound just in that intro, but it's still processing. But if that doesn't work, I'm probably going to delete the video and re-upload it. In fact, I already took out the music in my editing software, and like right now it's re-exporting, so that if I need to, I can just, like I said, delete the video and re-upload it. And somebody says that the game audio is a bit too loud, so I'm going to just back off on it. This is kind of a loud game. So I backed off the audio a little bit, so we'll see how that goes. And then now I'm just going to scroll back up and check the chat here. I see that I missed quite a bit, so... Hens aren't productive after 2 years. That's not really true, actually. One of my hens is like 5 years old, and she still lays eggs. Not as often, but I mean, she's kind of a pet, and she's an old chicken. So what am I going to do with her? You know, I mean, she's not the cost of keeping a chicken that doesn't lay eggs as much as a younger chicken is very minimal, and I'm not going to eat her because A, she's a pet, and B, that would be some tough meat. So, you know, we've got 2 younger chickens now, so so they'll lay plenty of eggs, so not really too worried about it. So I wonder if is the game audio too loud, or maybe the microphone is too quiet. So I'm going to turn that up too, and maybe that'll be better. So I think I actually have the setting on this microphone interface thing. It was a little bit lower than usual, so... once I unpause the game and we fight this boss battle, just somebody else tell me how it sounds now. So this looks sharp. Yeah, I mean, it does. So this is not, you know, going through an upscaler or anything. This is just the Super NT outputting. I think it outputs 720p. I don't know if you can choose. I forgot. No, you can. But I have it set for 720p. So Oh, DeForte, thank you. Thank you again. Yeah, I was thinking about you actually. You know, I figured now that I'm going to start talking about DOS games and stuff, I figure, like, you know, you'll be one of the people that's going to be more interested in the Flashback episodes. It's kind of funny. I noticed that I lost 2 subscribers today. Like, I have so few subscribers on that channel or on this channel, that if I lose a couple, I notice. And so maybe it's people who aren't into computer games. I don't really know, but I don't know what to tell people about that. So. All right. Anyway, let's get going with the next level here. Or well, this is kind of a weird setup, as you guys are going to see. So you fight a boss at the beginning of the level instead of the end. So yeah. So here comes this guy. He's gonna scale in. Look at that. Wow, that's pretty impressive. And then we can use these things to sort of help get rid of them. So you see, that was, I didn't even get hit once because he's not that difficult, really. I don't particularly care for this weapon, though, so hopefully we can get the spread gun back, which in my opinion, the spread gun, I don't like this one either. This yellow one is this weird bouncy weapon. Like right now it's just shooting straight ahead, but you'll see that, hold on. If it hits something, it creates all these things that ricochet all over the place. Say, power up. But there was an extra life over here somewhere, but I guess not. I don't want to just jump down haphazardly. Maybe it'll go the wrong way or something. Or I think it would have been okay. Then we got these fish. So it's funny. I mean, we played Gunlord. Didn't we play Gun? Yeah, we played Gunlord when I did the Neo Geo episode, and Gunlord reminds me more, you know, obviously it's sort of a Turrican tribute, but I think I'm most reminded of Gunlord when I play this game. Which is really, I don't know if this, to a lot of people, I don't know if this actually would count as like an official entry in the Turrican series. You know, if I went and asked some like European, you know, Turrican fan. See, now here's this dopey bouncy weapon back. You know, I always feel like it's like Turrican and Turrican 2, and and Turrican 3, which was Mega Turrican here. Like that's really the official, you know, Turrican franchise, and I don't know what people in Europe think of Super Turrican 1. Or maybe they think they're okay. I don't know. Go over here. Could I have done that from over there? I guess. Grab. Power up. We were almost dead there, so that power up is nice to have. Okay, some shields. And that was a long way to fall. I don't know what these green guys are, but they take about a minute to kill. Yeah, alright. So yeah, I don't know what else to say about, you know, I've talked about before how much I love Turrican, so, you know, when I found this game, for me, it was just more of the same in a good way. Although the one thing I'll say, I guess, I don't really like is I don't know what it's called, but this thing, just because it doesn't actually kill enemies, it just freezes them, or you know, I don't know, petrifies them or something, and then you still have to shoot them, which I don't know. I think that's kind of lame. Am I retracing my steps right now? Felt like it. And I hate these wasp guys. Here we go. Now we got the spread weapon back. Power up. Extra life hiding over here. Oh yeah, if you crouch and hit jump, you turn into that little buzzsaw looking thing. So that can be helpful for getting into tight spaces, but you can also use it to kill enemies. Well, I can't. Oh, there we go. Because you're at least semi-invincible. I guess maybe something could shoot you and you'd still get hurt, but you can't get hurt from like normal just contact with an enemy. So for people who have already watched the Flashback episode, I talked about that game Scorch or Scorched. I mean, it's called Scorched Earth, but we all just called it Scorch. Oh, really? We all just called it Scorch back in the day. And then I realized today, I was saying that I thought I remembered playing that game before I got a color video adapter for my computer, but that's actually not possible because that game required a VGA card. So unfortunately, I misremembered. I guess I'll mention that in the next episode. Hold on. Oh, see, there you go. Another extra life there, and some more of these. So picking up those little jewel things, it's just points, and I think you can try to get like all of them in a level if you want to be like a completionist or whatever. So yeah, anyway, that guy again. So anyway, I did remember. Well, I mean, I didn't really remember. Somebody left a comment and reminded me of a game that I did play before I got a color monitor. So I guess now I've got two games to talk about in the next episode of Flashback, which I think will make it a better episode anyway. So I'm certainly not complaining. Seemed hardly worth the effort then. Oh, sorry, I should check the chat here again. Oh my gosh, I missed so much. Like I say, it's going to be a little bit harder to follow the chat just because of the fact that I'm using an iPad here, which is not suboptimal. Yeah, Derek, you lose. Yeah, no, I lose and gain followers all the time on Twitter, too. It's really annoying. There's a lot of people on Twitter who follow you just to try to get you to follow them back, and it's really easy to recognize. And, I mean, it doesn't matter, I guess. For some reason, I just kind of find it annoying on general principle, even though I really shouldn't care. Yeah, Skids, I'm not going to make chicken and dumplings out of my chickens. Sorry, like I said, our chickens are pets. We don't have... If I had like a whole huge flock out there, then I think it would be different. But, we only have a handful of them. And so, once you get to know their individual personalities, at least for me, it'd be a lot harder to go out there and wring one of their necks. But I don't think that would be... That's not something I'd be able to do anyway. Like, I'm the kind of guy, like... I catch bugs in my house in like a glass and take them outside and let them go. Like I don't, I have a hard time killing anything for some reason. All right, I'm almost caught up here, I think. Do I have a Tandy color computer? No, I used to have a Tandy Coco 3, I think it was, that I found at like a flea market or something. But I got rid of it. It's not something I ever played at all back in the day, and there's really nothing to me about it that makes me think I really want to get one. So I probably won't. What I would love to have is a Tandy 1000, and I actually used to have. Because my friend's grandfather was getting rid of it. He didn't want it anymore because it was obsolete. Like, he had like a 386. And so he had the Tandy 1000 like out in his garage. And he let me take it home. And, I wish I still had it. But, it's like we all got rid of all that stuff. You know, I don't think anybody ever thought that, like, you know, early PC hardware was ever going to be that collectible. Like, none of us thought it that back then, you know. Like, if you had, like, a 386 sitting around, that was just e-waste. And now you see the price of that stuff starting to climb because everybody sent it to e-waste. And so now it's not so easy to find that stuff anymore. So, yeah, anyway. Oh, and then Ryan just asked a question here. Do you ever mod any of your own consoles? Yes and no. Like, I don't think I've ever put, like, a mod chip in one of my consoles that I can remember. I have a modded Xbox, but my friend was the one that actually did the soldering and put the mod chip in. I've done some RGB mods, but I think maybe that's not what you're talking about. So I guess kind of no, but only because I think I'm not very good at doing that kind of, like, doing soldering to that level of detail. But, you know, I've got that, what's it called? The thing for the PlayStation 1 that is like I don't know, it's not really an ODE, right? Because it plugs into the parallel port. It's called a SI... I don't know. I forgot what it's called. It's this thing you plug into the parallel port on the back of a PS1, and you can load games from it. So I don't know if that makes it an ODE or not. But I've got one of those coming in the mail, I don't know, someday. I paid for it several months ago, but I think you're basically pre-ordering it. And I didn't realize when I bought it that you still have to modify your console. I don't know how in-depth that mod is going to be, but if it's anything too crazy, I'm probably not going to want to do it, and I might just send it off to have it done somewhere else. Speaking, though, of modding consoles, just once again for people who either just don't do Twitter or maybe missed it when I talked about it, I did send my Model 1 Genesis and Sega CD off to be recapped. So I know that I can't remember who, but I know somebody. One of the live stream regulars has been asking me to do a Sega CD stream, which I would love to do. But I'd kind of gotten to the point where I didn't even really want to turn my Sega CD on anymore, just because I've read some horror stories about how the Model 1 Sega CD has, like, some really bad problems with capacitor leakage. So yeah, and I've always kind of suspected that maybe my Model 1 Genesis needed the capacitors replaced, because I always felt like the video quality wasn't really what it should be. And I have like a Model 1, it's a very early Model 1 Genesis, so like from sometime, you know, at least around the launch. And so, you know, for that that makes it, you know, a year or two older even than a newer Model 1 Genesis. And so like I said, you know, maybe the capacitors in it are just not doing so hot. So we'll see. But it's costing me quite a bit of money to have that recap job done. But you know, the thing is, if you don't get it done, eventually it's going to destroy your console, and so you kind of don't have a choice. And to be honest, you know, the guy I'm having it done through, that Mobius Strip Technologies, he's all the way over in Ohio, and so that's a big part of the expense. Because, you know, a Genesis and a Sega CD together are a little bit on the hefty side as far as weight goes. So it cost me $40 to send it to him, and then I'm going to have to pay $40 for him to send it back. And so that accounts for about 40% of the total cost, because he's charging me $60 per console to do the recap, because there are a lot of capacitors in both of those systems, so it's a lot of work. I mean, $60 seems like a lot of money, but that's going to be a lot of work, and you got to figure that, you know, skilled labor like that usually costs about $60 an hour. Like, if you have an electrician come to your house, that's what they're going to charge you. So, you know, but if it was somebody local then it would be saving a lot of money. But you know, it's hard because, you know, you could buy a Model 1 Genesis and Sega CD for about 120, 140 bucks, but then they're going to need new capacitors still, so it's just something that unfortunately there's really no getting away from. So I'm going to scroll back up here real quick. Yeah, I'll change the thumbnail later. It was just, you know, this whole stream came together last second, so yeah, I didn't change the thumbnail. I didn't change the name of the stream. I mean, I don't really think anybody cares that much. It's not like anybody's not going to show up because of that. And if they don't, I don't really care. But obviously, I will give it a proper thumbnail and change the title before I make the archive public. Yeah, PSIO. Thank you, RadRacer88. And he says it's definitely an ODE. All right, I don't know enough about how it works that I could say it's an ODE. So I'm just going to take your word for it there. Yeah, see, somebody else said something about the Zelda thumbnail. Yeah, like I said, I mean, I'll change it later, so no worries. Oh, Creative, you've got a Sega CD or a CDX. Yeah, I would love to have a CDX, actually. I should have bought one. You know, the problem is the CDX has always been kind of expensive, and so I was like too cheap, and I didn't want to buy one when they were like over $100, when you could get a Sega Genesis for like 10 or 15 bucks and a Sega CD for probably like 30. But you know, compared to today's prices, of course, what I would have paid for a CDX a while back, you know, would have been a steal. Oh yeah, Ryan says you never had the cojones to recap anything. Yeah, what you said is correct. It's a lot of work, but more specifically, it's a lot of room for error. You know, if I'm replacing 30 capacitors, that's 60 solder joints that, you know, I could potentially screw up. You know, like, I know how to solder, but that doesn't mean that I'm good at it. So yeah, I have no interest in doing that. And Derek says you should see what pinball repairs go for. You know, I've always wanted a pinball machine, but aside from not really having the space, that's one of the main things that have kept me away from it. Is that they're apparently very high maintenance, and you know, unless you're willing to work on it yourself, which, you know, when it's something that expensive, I wouldn't really trust myself with it. All right. Anyway, yeah. All right. So let's get back to it here. So I always really like this level. I mean, the music is good. Hopefully you can kind of hear the music, but I just always thought that, like, the graphics in this level look so awesome, just with that lava, and even the background. Like, this doesn't really have, you know, it's only got the one layer of parallax scrolling, but the background still looks really cool, and I like how, you know, you've got like this bright lava, and you know, even the foreground, you know, sort of the skulls underneath the lava there are bright, and then you have that dark blue background, so it's like a cool contrast. You know, I don't know how much this game goes for these days, or if it's, you know, maybe it's cost prohibitive, but it's absolutely one of my favorite Super Nintendo games. Much more so than Super Turrican 2, which of course you also get built in to the Super NT. But you know, which is nice because it's a very expensive game. So most people probably weren't going to buy it unless it was just for, you know, collector purposes. But it's still cool that they included it, and it's not a bad game at all. It's just that I think this game is so much better. You know, I think that if it wasn't a Turrican game and it was just some other game, kind of like what I said about Zelda 2. You know, people who don't like Zelda 2, I think, don't like it because they consider it a disappointing entry in the Zelda series. But if it was just some other game, then I think it would be much more highly regarded. So I guess I would just sort of say the same thing about Super Turrican 2. If it was just some non-Turrican game, I would probably think it was a pretty cool game. I think this is another boss battle here, and I feel like this guy might have given me problems in the past, so Hopefully I remember his pattern. Alright, we're gonna be alright. I'm not too worried about it. Ooh, well, not if I do that. You just get like the angle where you can stand somewhere. See, with the spread gun, you can like hit him in the forehead. Oh, yeah, so just like that. It's kind of hard. I mean, I don't want to make excuses for my crappy gameplay, but it's also hard because I'm kind of playing on this tiny little screen in the capture software. There we go. Alright, that wasn't so bad. What, did I die once, I think? I mean, look at the floor there with, like, the deformed skulls, or... That reminds me of, like, Terminator 2. Was it 2? Yeah, Terminator 2, and they had, like, kind of the flashback sequence, and there were, like, all those skulls and stuff on the ground. It was cool, anyway. Alright, so, is that the end of level 2 or level 1? I always forget. I hate this level, but that's alright. We got to get through it. People are still complaining about the title. Yeah, sorry. I don't have... you know, with the whole iPad thing here, I don't really have the ability to change the title, but I guess I can just do it right here. I don't know if it's going to let me change it since I'm live streaming. Come on, bro. Oh yeah, all right. It'll let me change it. So because I don't, it's no big deal that people keep pointing it out because they're just showing up and not realizing we've already talked about it. But let's just go ahead and change it real fast. Of course, you guys aren't going to see the change unless you reload the page. But I don't know why anybody that's already here would even care. I'm just going to call it the Analog Super NT. Should I call it that? It sounds like I'm... That makes it sound like it's a sponsored stream. So let's not call it that. I'm just going to call it Super Turrican. And I'm obviously not going to type in a description right now, so... What I'm not going to change is the thumbnail, so... if anybody doesn't like the thumbnail, you're just going to have to... live with it for a while. Okay, it says your changes are being saved. Your changes are saved. All right, so super, our changes are saved. Isn't everybody excited about that? Can I pop out the chat from over here? Ooh, this might be better if I put the chat over there. Yeah. All right, there we go. That's better, I think. Yeah, and yeah, Creative, Super Turrican is not a weekend rental. I agree wholeheartedly. How much closer can I'll put that like there? Okay. And then what are we talking about here? Creative says Super Turrican's $40 loose. Wow, that's... I mean, that's not great, but it's not horrible. I mean, I don't know. That's more than I'd want to pay for a loose Super Nintendo game personally, but I guess it's not horrible. Oh, it automatically updated? Well, that's cool. Wow, I wouldn't have thought that that it would do that. So that's cool. Okay. Sega, in my opinion, this game is better than Mega Turrican. Yeah, but you know, that's obviously subjective. Although, see, like this level reminds me of Super Turrican with all the purple that it has in it, but you know, it's got like all these moving platforms, and then you know, these guys that are pooping fire on you. So now there's like missiles falling from the ceiling, so that's very annoying. So, like I said, definitely not my favorite level in the game, but I don't really want that. But I wanted the little screen clearing thing. So. bits that come out of the floor. Ooh, dead. Ooh, secret area, maybe. What was the point of coming up here? Just for those 3 jewels? That's pretty lame. And now we got this stupid bouncy weapon that I hate, and now I fell off the thing and have to go all the way back around. That's no big deal. Brutal. Well, at least the things that killed me disappeared. Got our spread gun back. Got a shield. There, now we got our spread gun all powered up. See, that sucks. They put that there so you have no choice but to grab it. We gotta watch it so we don't jump up into that fire. Alright, now we got it. So now you got the drill bit in the floor there. You got it. Well, that looks like something dirty. I'm not gonna say it, but if Bithead were here, he would tell you what that looks like. See, now nothing can hurt you, but you're just gonna like kind of bounce around. And that was a net loss. Not looking too good. I don't want to blame the controller, but yeah, I want to continue. Starts you off the beginning of the level. That sucks. Really? Wow. This weapon has no cojones. There we go. Let's get this blue laser weapon. That one's better. Oh my gosh. So I'm going to check the chat here real fast. Okay, this stage is a little bit on the brutal side. Thanks again, D Forte. All right. Anyway. Not helping that my weapon is so underpowered. I mean, it's no excuse, but it would help. Freaking conveyor belt. We're not doing too well because we're already on our last life too. So, of course, I mean, we can continue again. I'm going to start the level over again. What, Derek? You're swimming in money? Oh, D Forte. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. But I mean, you don't feel like you have to. You know, I mean, we're just all here having a good time. It doesn't mean I don't appreciate it, but because of course I do. But yeah, I don't know what my point is. Stinking in Lincoln. I don't think that people from Lincoln, Nebraska, would care for that saying. Really? I wish you could kill those things. Get us out of here. Thank goodness. I just wanted to get through there before we got another game over and had to start that whole horrible level over again. So now the slime has turned from purple into pink, or green rather. See, this game's also not as forthcoming with all of the extra lives as some of its predecessors are, which is too bad because I could certainly use some. You die. Wow. The current with this green slime is much stronger. Reminds me of something you would have seen on Nickelodeon. I got stuck. Well, that's alright. We'll continue again. 2 continues left. Well, that's good. Sorry, I was checking the chat here real quick. Boxing, I'm not offended. That is kind of a weird thing to ask, though. No, I don't. talk to her. I think it's funny. Some people say, you know, I've had people kind of be critical and say, you know, I shouldn't say some of the stuff I say on my show, because, like, you know, what if my stepmom sees it or something? And I don't ever see her, like, ever, or any other family that has any connection to her. So, I mean, I have nothing to fear with, you know. I mean, what have I even really said anyway? But yeah, anyway. But yeah, so I don't know why you would ask that, but I don't know. It's okay to ask, I guess. Well, it doesn't help because there's fire, right? Does this game have a password system? I mean, not that I know of. Maybe once you get your final death, it gives you a password, but I don't believe so. I don't think you can save your game either. I think you just have to sit down and beat it. Yeah, boxing. I don't mind that you asked. It's fine. It doesn't bother me. But like I said, no. Boy, Derek, calm down. Thanks, Red Racer, for the worthless Brazilian money. I didn't know you were Brazilian, so that's cool. Hey, maybe you know Eric, my friend Eric. He lives in Brazil. That's a joke. I mean, I do have the friend Eric who lives in Brazil. But it's a joke that you would know him. Although speaking of Eric, it was funny. Like, you know, some tool bag left a comment on my Master System launch episode the other day, saying like, you know, this is America. Speak English, and it's like, yeah, he's not in America, buddy. Uh-oh, am I supposed to... There we go. And I think we're gonna die. Oh, I didn't know I could just... Damn it. Alright. Well, now I know. I didn't know I could jump up through the platform like that, so... that's some good information. Ooh, listen to that music. That's jamming. I notice it ducks the music just a little bit when you pause the game, which is a nice touch. Can I send you a game from England? I mean, if you want, I hate to see people spend money on postage for something that maybe I don't need or something. So, which I don't know. It sounds bad now that I said it. Yeah, I don't know. You should. Anything you want to send would be appreciated, and of course I'll show it on an episode of Flashback. So, of course, you could also just send a postcard. Yeah, I mean, I love it when we get postcards. So yeah. Oh, Shane. So that's who I was thinking of earlier. So Shane, you left a comment on the Flashback episode talking about SimCity. And I completely forgot about that when I was recording the episode yesterday. SimCity is a game that I played when I still just had monochrome graphics. So for that reason, I'm going to talk about SimCity on the next episode of Flashback, which, I don't know, I'll probably record this weekend, actually. So yeah. Anyway. Alright, yeah, anyway. Which way are we here? Up, maybe? Oh, D Forte, thanks. I don't know what to do about that. Like, now I'm thinking about, like, maybe I should build a new computer. Yeah, it's funny. Sorry I didn't mention that. That was the other thing I guess I didn't say on the live stream, is that I have this capture card that is actually kind of an expensive capture card. I bought it used, and I still paid kind of a lot of money for it, but nothing compared to what the thing cost when it was new. And but you have to have a PC, and so part of the reason that I bought this computer was to stick that capture card in, and then I just never got around to doing it because I have the external one that we're using right now. And so tonight was the first time that I tried to stick the card in there, only to find out that this stupid computer doesn't actually have expansion slots, even though it has the open holes in the back of the case. So, so I don't know if I don't know what to do. I was thinking maybe I could build a new computer and use some of the parts out of this one. I mean, I can't use the motherboard, obviously, but I could use the CPU. I mean, this is not a... It's got a Core i5 8th generation, so I know that's not an i7, but, you know, but for what I'm doing, it's fine. And I wanted to replace the hard drive with an SSD anyway. So... but I mean, you know, I'm assuming that the RAM in it's fine, and probably the video card really in it is fine too. It's not discrete, or it is discrete graphics. It's not integrated video, so I could, I guess, take the graphics card out of it too. So really, I would just need a motherboard, a case with a power supply, and like I said, an SSD. But I mean, freaking SSDs now have gotten so cheap. You know, you can get like a 1 gigabyte one for like barely over $100. So, because I don't, you know, I mean, I could take this thing back to Costco and really try to make a stink. But you know, I mean, I don't know. I don't return things. The only time I return anything to Costco is when I buy clothes there and it will fit. So it's not like I have a record of doing that. This is really hard, I think, because there's just that little bit of input lag. Because I'm playing it through the capture, but we'll get it. So yeah. Anyway, I don't know if they would take it back or not. But I mean, this computer was pretty cheap. So maybe do I just need to go this way? I think I just need to go this way. I don't want that thing. Is fire gonna come out of there? Yeah. So I'm saying maybe it would just be, you know. Because if I took this back and they let me return it, I only paid $500 for this computer, and you know, I would turn around and spend half of that just buying a CPU and RAM and some kind of not all that great video card. So you know, maybe I should just take it on the chin. I'm saying, and just take out the usable parts, but. All Apple products should be discreet shipping to hide the shame of using one. I don't know. I mostly use Apple products myself, but as I said in that Flashback episode, I'm definitely starting to kind of sour on Apple computers. But it's just what I use for video editing. And then, sorry, BitBarn, I saw you asked if it's a DataPath Vision card. No, it's an Epiphan DVI to PCIe card, but I think the list price on it is about $1,500, and I got it used for $300. But that still makes it the most expensive capture device that I've bought to date. But this StarTech thing I have cost me a couple $100, and so I hope there's nothing wrong with it. Although, like I said, if the alternative is that there's something wrong with my OSSC, then that's not great either. But it is the older version of OSSC, so I don't know. Maybe it's an excuse to buy the the HDMI version. I don't really know. Derek says, I wish I could use the SNES mouse for SimCity on the SNES. Yeah, I mean, that would be cool. DeForte says you could just replace the motherboard. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know if it's just a standard motherboard. I mean, it didn't look like it was anything proprietary, but yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. Maybe I could just replace the motherboard. I don't know. I'll figure out what to do. I'm not really too terribly concerned about it. We'll figure it out. All right, guys, stop fighting in the chat. Did I come from this way or am I going this way? Now I forgot. Oh, I'm going this way. There be something over here. Barbecue. So listen to that piano, man. That's pretty cool. Oh, okay. Oh. Well, what was the pit all about? Oh, wait. I went all the way back to the beginning, huh? I went back to right there. Well, that's stupid. Yeah, I agree. Dying isn't cool. I wish I could stop doing it. John Tesh on the soundtrack. Creative says, you like to visit England someday? I highly recommend it. I've been to England just once, but I really liked it. And yeah, I stayed in Chelsea, actually, when I was there. Boxing's favorite games are Golden Axe and Streets of Rage 2. Those are a couple of my favorites as well. Speaking of Golden Axe, though, so my buddy Matt Hensel, he's been posting every now and then on Twitter. He's been going through and getting out, I guess whenever he bought a game back in the day, he would take the receipt and he would tuck it in, I guess to the manual of the game, probably. And so lately he's been pulling them out and scanning them for me. Because, you know, he used to buy games like... he would buy games like the day they came out. And so it's been helpful for me because it demonstrates when some games came out. Like, for people that saw the video I did a long time ago on the Sega Genesis in 1989, I covered Revenge of Shinobi at the end of the episode, but I mentioned, like, you know, that the game either came out in late 89 or early 90, and that I didn't know which, because there was no information about it available. And he took a picture of his receipt, and thanks to that, we now know. God damn. We now know that it actually was a late 1989 release. So for me, that was actually pretty exciting to see. Hey, wake up! Oh, but anyway, I said speaking of Golden Axe, so he took a picture of his Golden Axe receipt today, and it was actually from January 21st, 1990. So I guess yesterday was, at least for some people, the anniversary of the release of Golden Axe. And that was a game that I had written down as, sort of, I think I said like late January, but it had a question mark because I really wasn't actually sure. And now, thanks to that receipt, now I am sure that it was late January. So it's pretty cool. There's no reason to go over there. Go back down there. We're running low on fuel here. I always forget that you can't step on those things. This guy with the freeze beam? No. This weapon sucks. If I make it up there, get a power up. Power up, got it. Don't go back down there. God, these guys are super annoying. Game over. Well, I played that for an hour. That's not so bad, right? I don't know. Are you asking me if once to England was enough, or would I go back? No, I definitely want to go back. Once was not enough. I was only in London. And I went to a few of the outlying cities. Like I went to the Brooklands Museum. I got to see one of Senna's cars. And I went to St. Albans, which is it's just like a little town that you just take a train out to. Like a suburb. It's not a suburb, it's farther than that. But that's where I got my copy of Sonic the Hedgehog. That's the only game where I have a NTSC copy, like from the US. I have a PAL copy from the UK that I got in St. Albans. And then I have a Japanese copy of the game. I guess I don't have... There's actually a bunch of variants of Sonic the Hedgehog. If you got it in Canada, that's still NTSC, but it had the European box art. So, but I don't need that many copies of Sonic. 3 is fine. I'm just catching up with the chat here. Yeah. Anyway, all right. So there's a library in Dublin I want to see. Only has books from the 1700s and old. If that's the library at the University of Dublin, I went there. If we're talking about the same library, it's a very cool library. All right. So that was Super Turrican. So I guess the logical next step here is now let's check out a little bit of Super Turrican 2. So I'm going to hit the reset button on the Super NT, which I think takes us back out to the... nope. I'm going to have to power cycle it. So let's all keep our fingers crossed that this doesn't make the capture device take a dump on us. No, I think we're good. Yep, there it is. So yeah, like I said, I don't know. Maybe it's something with, like the OSSC is like scrambling the brains of the StarTech, but it was causing problems with the computer too. So I'm still really not sure. I don't know. Anyway, all right. So I'm gonna just check the chat again, but I'm gonna go ahead and let's get Super Turrican 2 going, and that way we can check out the teaser mode. Think it's a public library? I mean, well, it's the one that I went to is in a university, so it's a public library. But yeah, maybe it's not. It might not be the same library. I don't know. I mean, it's old country, so they probably have a lot of old books there. My NT isn't jailbroken. That's true. I didn't know. Well, this is a Super NT. Can you jailbreak a Super NT? It's got, because doesn't it have an SD card? Yeah, it has an SD card slot on it. So I don't. Are there cores? Are there cores for the Super NT so that I can play other systems on it? That'd be cool if there was. I don't actually know. Oh, you're saying yes, there is. I mean, is it possible to brick the system if I do that? I don't want to do that, but oh, it's official. Oh. Well, I'll look into that. If you got a link or something, that would be cool. But if not, I mean, that would be really cool. Wow, this is cool teaser mode. Teresa used to be a librarian. That's cool. I tried to get a job as a librarian when I graduated. There's at the university where I work, they always have positions open for like nighttime librarians because there's a lot of turnover in that kind of position because no one wants to work at night. But I had no qualifications to be a librarian. You're saying Kevtris made it? All right, I'll check it out because that would be neat. As long as it's not going to screw up my system. I mean, why wouldn't I install that? So yeah. Oh, Shane, you bought a complete copy of Super Turrican too. That's too bad. Yeah, I do. I do own a 3DO, and it would be cool to do a 3DO stream. My 3DO is not RGB capable, though. All right, let's get going here. Come on. So this game, I mean, obviously I wasn't exactly putting on a clinic with Super Turrican, but I've actually not played this game very much. Oh, is Burger leaving? All right, later, man. I really haven't played this game very much, so however bad the first one went, this one's going to be worse.
Arm your assault suit. Spread shot.
See, now the spread shot's green. That's just confusing. We still got our little beam here. I don't know what that does. D Forte is asking what I'm drinking. It's very boring. I'm drinking water. Yeah. I've been drinking a lot of water lately. So sorry, I can't see myself. So I'm gonna change this a little bit. All right. Anyway, oh, what? Who's talking about In-N-Out Burger? I had In-N-Out Burger for lunch yesterday. I wanted to go get it again for lunch today, but whenever I'm at work, I always have all these little hanger-oners that make it hard for me to do whatever I want. So, well, look at that. Let's just take a moment to appreciate that background. And the way it's moving, like, because of, like, radiating waves of heat. What the hell? Are those little rats or something?
Emergency.
Oh, boy. We already don't have much. Ooh, there we go.
Power up.
This first part of this level, I don't know if anybody else is going to agree or not, but it kind of reminds me of the first level of Super Star Wars. Just because then you're fighting through the sand dunes of Tatooine. It's kind of annoying, though. In this game, you can't jump on the enemies like you can in the other game, so I keep getting dinged. because I keep trying to jump on these guys' heads. Oh, and this one, the lightning thing still does the same thing. That's kind of disappointing. But, I mean, I don't know if you see what I mean. It's just like... I mean, this looks cool and everything, and it's got good sound, but it's just like... So far, this level is just very repetitive, and we're just moving in a straight line, and like... I don't know. Like... I got this guy on my butt. Ooh. We got a vehicle, though. I forgot about that. So, I mean, that's an upgrade. We just got an extra life, I don't know if you heard that, so that's helpful, since I'm sucking. So you can jump on these guys when you're driving a dune buggy. This is pretty fun, I have to admit. Man. Oh well. This feels like a boss battle.
Danger.
Nice graphics, though.
Stage 1, 2.
Creative. I don't know what turnt means. Sorry. Sipping on some scissor. Oh, Electric, you're in Fresno. That's cool. You need a PhD to stack books? No, but you can get a degree in like library science or something like that. So like I had a degree in chemistry, so they're like, I was just as unqualified as probably the 50 other people that applied for the same job. Your ex messaged you and asked why you don't have a Steel Battalion controller? Seems like a very odd thing to text you about. Soon you'll need a diploma at a car wash. Well, I mean, it's true that a college diploma or a college degree is not worth what it once was. Hell yeah, go Bulldogs. Alright. At least your ex didn't ask if you still talk to your stepmom. That's funny. Oh man, I could have jumped up there. Oh, here we go. Well, maybe not.
Missile.
Librarians are hot, at least the ones I've seen on the internet. You know, it's funny because when I was going to community college, there was this librarian. I worked in a room that was like right next to the library, and there was this girl working in there who was smoking hot. So we gotta slowly make our way up the wall here so we don't screw up. But see, that's another new ability. Now we can climb up walls. Oh, not this crappy weapon. You know, I only ever saw a used Steel Battalion controller for sale once, and I didn't buy it just because it's huge and I probably won't ever use it. Ooh. JL Draw's got an answer to my question here. No, Derek, I didn't ask to check out the librarian. She was out of my league. You said, I want to answer your question from the most recent flashback about why your 4th grade teacher had a computer and your other classes didn't. What usually happens is that the teacher puts in bids for technology and basically everything else at the start of each semester, and those who end up getting the bid get the tech or whatever. That's pretty cool, but although it's weird that she would... It's weird that she would do that because, like I said, we didn't really use the computer in class that much. So, you know, you wouldn't have thought that she went out of her way to get it, but I have no idea. I mean, this would have been in, what did I say, 1986? Yeah, 4th grade was 86, 87. So maybe, I mean, maybe she inherited the computer with the classroom, or maybe she had just already had it for a few years. I mean, by that time, an Apple IIe was already a few years old, so... So yeah, all right, Teresa, we'll see you later. Thanks for hanging out. D Forte, thank you. What DOS am I planning on using with my rig? I think my DOS machine has NDOS installed, Norton DOS. But if not, it's probably DOS 6.22, but I'm pretty sure it has NDOS on it. But I don't know if I'm going to actually plug in an actual DOS rig or not, because to be honest with you, well, that was the main reason for that capture card, is that it will capture DOS VGA footage, and I don't think this other capture card will. So I guess that's just all the more reason of why I should build a new computer, which honestly I don't mind doing, actually. That sounds pretty fun. So, and I think I just got my YouTube paycheck for the month, so that's something to blow it on. All right, see you, Derek. Thanks for hanging out, man. Sorry for the last second stream. No one's out of my league. Well, I don't... Well, my wife would say that now everybody's out of my league because I'm married, and she'd be right. Although, I mean, to be honest, I would call my wife out of my league too, so... But I made that work. Ooh, can we get up there? Nice. hopefully it's not going to bleed through, but I just want to turn the volume up a little bit just because the music sounds cool. So we have to scale up this side of the building now too. Sorry, this is not super exciting to watch, but... Oh man, this is going to be rough. Alright, we made it. Wait, do I have to, like, monkey swing my way to the next part? What was in there? Or did I just come down that way? Let me check the chat, because now I'm scared. This part is a pain. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be one. Oh, well, that's not so bad, I guess. What are these monkeys? Do I just drop down? I don't want to die. Oh, I can just jump through. Okay, can't do that. Hopefully I'm going the right way. Alright, well, we made it through there. That's not so bad. Josh, no, I don't teach at all. I just do research. Ooh, look at that. Too bad you can't shoot up. Make some roasted monkey. I like this flamethrower, man. I don't know, you know, I said that I wasn't that much into this game, but it's already kind of growing on me. To show you how little I've played this game, I don't think I've ever even been this far in it. Get out of here. Alright, we got rid of the flamethrower there, but I got a power up, and that's important. Now I'm running out of time, really.
2, 1.
Why go... I don't understand why a home video game needs a time limit. You know, like, I get it why they have that in the arcades, but, like, I own the game, you know? Like, let me go through it at my own pace.
5, 4.
Wait, why am I already out of time again? This is all very confusing. Because look, now I'm going to die again. It's strange. Yeah, I'm going to continue. Mike McFly, what's up, dude? No, I don't watch rally racing, but not because I don't find it interesting, but just because I only have so much time, you know.
Laser. Missile.
Ooh, look at that. Colorful. Wow, and powerful. Oh, Shane's taking off? See ya, man. Yeah, it's pretty late where you are, I understand. Thanks for coming.
Rebound. Shield.
Trying to go faster now that, you know, after what happened last time.
Smart bomb. Power up. Flamethrower activated. Power up. Red shot. Rebound activated.
You can see that guy there. I don't know, maybe this weapon is better for this area.
Power up.
Alright, we're doing a lot better with time this time. Was I going slow? I didn't think so, but... Those monkeys kind of blend into the background, you know? Give me a power up, lady. Oh, there it is. Oh. I was afraid I wasn't going to be able to reach it. Uh-oh. Boss battle coming up. Oh my goodness, what is that thing? Forgot I don't have missiles anymore. Ooh, got rid of one of his arms.
Emergency.
Ooh, I didn't know I had that. I don't have any more, though. Doesn't do anything. Oh, there we go. Really? He does chin-ups. Wow.
Stage. Red shot activated.
Mike finally beat Michael Jackson's Moonwalker the other night. That's pretty cool. Wow. I've never beat that game, so...
Activated.
Okay, didn't know that was going to happen. Rusty pipes. I mean, do you have to just try to, like... Oh, come on, man. Continue? Continue? Alright. Alright, this is our last continue, and it's after 8 o'clock, so once we get game over, stream over.
Flamethrower activated.
Seems like you just need to kind of do a lot of jumping and stay light on your feet.
Smart bomb. Power up. Missile.
Well, that was quick. All right, later, Oracle.
Stage 1, 4.
Wow. This is brutal. Am I supposed to try to move on, or are you just supposed to kind of hang on?
Emergency.
Oh, yeah, you're supposed to hang on. I don't understand what I'm supposed to do. That's game over too, huh? Alright. Well, that's both Super Turrican games on the Super Nintendo. I don't know. You guys got anything you want to talk about? Who's even still here? Yeah, what is the stage? I don't really get it either. Imagine Chris gets the game over and the stream just blinks out with no outro. That'd be actually kind of funny. I don't know if I have anything interesting. El Guapo, thank you. I don't know what I have on the. You have to run and jump on the different worms. Yeah, I think that seems like what I needed to do there. So, time for some Scorched Earth, man. I would love to. Such a good game. Seriously, if you've never played Scorched Earth, you should try. Even though it really won't run on a modern PC, but you can get DOSBox going. But you just have to slow it like way, way down. What's up, Popst? Popst. Is it I guess because Pabst beer, right? Pabstoban. Have you seen the new Grand Tour? No, I actually have not. I watched I think most of the first season, and that's I kind of stopped. Not because I don't like it, but I just don't really have so much time. But I would really like to watch it. I mentioned I don't know what I think I mentioned it on was the pickups video. I don't know. That I was watching Sopranos again, and my wife and I finished that, and so now we're binge watching Boardwalk Empire, and maybe when I'm done with that, I really do want to go back and start watching the Grand Tour again, just because it's a good show. Although I prefer the old episodes of Top Gear, like the first few seasons of Top Gear. Those were pretty cool. What else we're talking about here? What's the first game you can remember playing that blew your mind as a kid? Blew my mind. I don't know. I remember walking past a Dragon's Lair machine and just, the fact that it was a cartoon was pretty mind-blowing. The first time I ever sat in a Star Wars arcade cabinet, that was like the Vector Graphics Star Wars arcade, and you actually had the controls. That was pretty awesome. Like, I used to love the machines that you would actually sit in. Like, my favorite arcade game probably back when I was a kid was a sit-down Spy Hunter cabinet. But it was still just Spy Hunter. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But playing that Star Wars arcade machine where it was sort of that pseudo 3D vector graphics, that was really, really cool. So I would rate that pretty highly. Yeah, Ryan, I got your postcard today. Thank you. I'm going to show it obviously on the next episode of Flashback, and like I said, I just got it today, so I'll try to get your postcard back to you tomorrow. Maybe, in fact, when the live stream's over, maybe I will just write. I got yours, and I got one other one, so two postcards today. It's funny. I only went to the post office today to drop off a couple postcards, but as long as I'm in there, obviously I'm gonna check my PO box. But I didn't really expect to see anything in there. But yeah, there was two postcards in there, so that was pretty cool. Mike, your stickers are really high quality. Thanks, man. You put one on your AVS. That's cool. I kind of want to get one of those AVSs. But yeah, those stickers are really nice quality. I get them from Sticker Mule. They're waterproof. My wife has one on her travel coffee mug, and I wash her mug for her every day with soap and water, and that sticker hasn't gone anywhere. So that's pretty cool. And thanks again for buying them, Mike. I appreciate it. I'm glad they got to you so fast. Yeah, Dragon's Lair was cool to watch. I tried playing it a couple times, and I didn't like it so much. Yakko, unfortunately, you actually missed the entire stream. We're just wrapping up, so yeah. Yeah, sorry. I mean, like I already explained, I didn't schedule the stream this week just because I knew I was having some problems with my setup, and so I didn't want to make a promise that I couldn't keep. Like if I actually scheduled a stream on YouTube and then was not able to do it, I would feel pretty crappy about that. So yeah. That's why it ended up just being a semi-impromptu stream. But we really haven't streamed much Super Nintendo, so I would like to return to it. But I do want to start streaming some DOS games as well. So I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to do that because I have so many DOS games that I want to talk about for Flashback. But then it would also be fun to stream them. So I don't, maybe we can play games on the stream that I've already mentioned on Flashback. Maybe that would be a good way to do it. I don't really know. Excuse me. But we'll figure it out because I definitely want to at least show some gameplay footage. On Flashback while I'm talking about the game, like the way I did with Scorched Earth. But so we could have streamed Scorched Earth tonight, except I just don't know how exciting that would be to stream. I don't know. It would have been all right, I think. So we might, maybe the first time I set up the streaming setup, maybe we'll play a little bit of Scorch. I don't really know. And yeah, Yako, it would definitely be cool to do a stream where we play through a Sierra game. I don't know King's Quest or not, but like I mentioned, Gold Rush on that episode of Flashback, it would be really cool to stream an episode or stream a complete playthrough of Gold Rush. Creative, it really wouldn't be too bad, just because I can use DOSBox. So and a lot of those games are available on that Good Old Games website that I mentioned it in the Flashback, and I might have edited it out. I don't remember, but they sell you DOS games that are already wrapped up in like a DOSBox package that seems like it's already kind of optimized for the game that you're playing, as far as like the CPU settings and stuff go. So and you can get all those old Sierra games on there, so it'd actually be really easy to stream that. And I mean, I don't want to give away like spoilers or whatever, but I've purchased several other games from Good Old Games that are games that we're definitely going to talk about on Flashback, and so I already have those, and so it would be quite easy to stream them. So, Josh, you played Scorched Earth back in the day. Ryan, you did too. you versus the stream. I don't know how that. Well, we could probably make that work, I guess. So we always called it. We always called it Scorch. I know that the name is actually Scorched Earth, but we always called it Scorch. And then today I read an interview with the guy that made Scorched Earth. His name is like Wendell Wicken, and he actually also refers to it as Scorch. I thought that was pretty cool. I just called it that because when you download it, Scorch is the name of the directory that you have on your computer, and then Scorch is what you type in to start it. So it's like, scorch.exe or whatever. And so we always just called it Scorch. All right, Jonathan, thanks. Have fun watching Flashback episode 22. Hopefully you like it. And Electric, yeah, Castlevania 4 would be a cool game to do a stream of. I really like that game a lot. I always say that it's a little bit too easy as far as Castlevania games go. But that being said, I don't think I ever actually sat down and beat it. I don't think. I think I've played through most of it, but I don't think I ever actually beat it. So, that's pretty stupid. I should. All right, well, anyway, I think that's going to wrap it up for tonight's stream. And so thanks to all you guys for still showing up, even though it wasn't scheduled. I appreciate that. Sorry for the problems that we had, but I think the stream still turned out okay. And I will see you guys for sure again next week, hopefully on Tuesday. And if I can't get this whole capture setup thing resolved by then, it doesn't matter. We can play. I can always bring down. I have other capture stuff. I already had this set up down here. So either that, or we can play more Super Nintendo, or as I said, maybe by next week we'll want to stream DOS games. So, but we'll figure it out. And anyway, yeah, sorry Yako that you showed up at the last minute, but again, that's probably because I didn't schedule the stream. So I apologize for that. So anyway, yeah, you guys have a good rest of your night and rest of your week, and see you guys all again next week.